Imagine getting paid $11 an hour to explain to a grown adult, in writing, that the wave pool has waves because it's called a wave pool. That email exists. So does the one demanding staff dim the sun, and the one accusing a foam shark mascot of staring. We're opening the complaint folder American water parks pray nobody ever leaks, and breaking down why the rules behind every meltdown actually exist. 1. Here's how absurd this gets right out of the gate. A woman walks into a water park in Texas, pays full price, and 20 minutes later marches back to guest services absolutely fuming. Her complaint? The water was, and I'm quoting the actual report, unexpectedly wet. She wanted a refund and a free t-shirt for emotional distress. Now be honest with me. If the giant slides, the wave pool, and the literal word water in the name didn't tip her off, what would? 2. Some complaints just write themselves. A guy in Florida filed a formal grievance because the wave pool had waves. Yes, in the wave pool. He said the motion gave him seasickness and ruined his afternoon. The wave schedule was posted on a sign he walked past 3 separate times. Reading, apparently, is a premium feature. 3. A mom once lost her entire mind at a Georgia water park because her teenage son got a wedgie coming off a body slide. She demanded the park redesign the slide, replace the swimsuit, and pay damages for, get this, lost dignity. Ma'am, that's not a design flaw. That's a 60-foot drop meeting a piece of polyester at terminal velocity. There's no engineer in the world who can fix that. 4. Here's where it gets ridiculous. A dad in Ohio demanded a refund because the lazy river was, quote, too lazy. 10 minutes later, a totally different guest stormed up to the same desk to complain the same lazy river was too aggressive and stressful. Same river, same current, same 1 minute apart. That poor manager aged a year that morning. 5. Imagine being a lifeguard supervisor and getting this call. A woman drops a diamond earring in the wave pool and demands they drain it. The whole thing, right then, with 400 people inside. She didn't want it paused. She didn't want it checked at closing. She wanted it emptied like a bathtub. She left a 1-star review titled, "They valued strangers over my jewelry." I wish I were making that up. 6. Quick reality break, because this one's actually true, and most people get it backwards. That sharp pool smell everyone complains about? It's not too much chlorine, it's the opposite. It's chloramines, the chemical reaction between chlorine and sweat, sunscreen, and, well, urine. So when somebody complains the pool reeks, they're really complaining about each other. Let that sit for a second. 7. A guest in Pennsylvania filed a written complaint that the lifeguards were staring too intensely and made her feel surveilled. That, friend, is called the job. They're not judging your form. They're scanning for the kid who just went under in lane 3. Industry rules require guards to rotate every 15 to 30 minutes, specifically so their focus stays razor sharp. It's not a vibe. It's how people stay alive. 8. Ever wonder why every water park bans jean shorts on the slides? One guy in Atlanta refused to take his off and screamed it was denim discrimination. 9. Here's the actual reason, and it matters. Rivets, metal buttons, and zippers shred the slide surface at high speed. A single pair of jeans can cause thousands of dollars in damage and create gouges that injure the next rider down. So that stupid rule isn't about fashion. It's about the person behind you not getting their leg sliced open. The Atlanta guy threatened to sue. He did not sue. 10. A grandmother in South Carolina demanded the park remove the seagulls. All of them. She said they were harassing her grandchildren by daring to fly overhead. The employee tried, gently, to explain that seagulls are wild animals and the park does not employ them. She escalated. She asked for the manager, then the manager's manager. Then, and I cannot stress this enough, she asked for whoever is in charge of birds. Spoiler, no such person exists. 11. Picture an Arizona splash pad in August. Now picture a father standing in front of the operator demanding it be heated to bath temperature for his toddlers. In the desert. Sir, warm standing water plus sunshine plus dozens of small children equals a science experiment nobody on Earth wants to clean up. He left 2 reviews. Both negative. Both deserved a screenshot in a Hall of Fame. 12. One woman insisted a slide attendant pushed her down too hard and demanded an internal investigation. Quick truth. Attendants barely touch riders on tube slides. They give the tube a nudge, maybe 2 inches, just to clear the platform. The actual speed comes from the flume geometry and the water flow rate. The push is theater. It's a high five with a side of motion. 13. Tell me which of these is worse. A guy complained his tube was too small and accused the park of fat-shaming through inflatable products. Or the mom who complained the tube assigned to her child was too big and accused staff of calling her kid fragile. Both were standard weight-rated tubes assigned by safety, not by judgment. Both left Google reviews. The internet somehow took sides. 14. A teenager called a park's complaint line in tears because her hair got tangled at the bottom of a slide. She said the slide attacked her. Her mother followed up and demanded a free salon visit for the trauma. The park, bless them, offered detangling spray. Mom rejected it, quote, "This isn't a spray situation." To this day, nobody knows what is a spray situation. 15. An entire family demanded a full refund because it rained during their visit. At a water park, where every guest, by definition, is already soaking wet. They argued the rain ruined the experience because they couldn't tell the slides from the sky. Here's the thing, though. Most parks only refund for lightning closures, and that's not a customer service decision. That's the law. 16. This one matters, so listen up. Almost every water park in America closes pools and slides when lightning strikes within roughly 8 to 10 miles. That's not them being dramatic. It's often required by state code and backed by industry safety standards. So when guests scream that the sky looks fine, the staff aren't guessing. They're staring at a strike monitor that's beeping at them in real time. The sky is a liar. The monitor isn't. 17. A woman demanded the park ban loud children. Park-wide, all of them. She said she came for peaceful aquatic recreation at a water park during spring break. The employee, who deserves a medal and probably a vacation, calmly suggested a spa might be a better fit. She then filed a separate complaint about the suggestion. The spa recommendation somehow was the offensive part. 18. Have you ever been in a wave pool when the waves stop? They always stop, every 10 to 15 minutes. That's not the staff being lazy. That's a safety reset where lifeguards scan the pool, clear out tired swimmers, and check capacity before the next cycle. One guy didn't know that. He marched up to a guard and demanded the waves be turned back on immediately. Without those breaks, rescue counts triple, easily. 19. A mom raged that the kiddie pool was too shallow for her toddler. The exact same week, a different mom raged the exact same pool was too deep because her toddler could theoretically tip over. Same pool, same 8 inches of water. Both got identical, polite, copy-pasted responses. If you've ever wondered why managers stop reading their email, that's why. 20. Riddle me this. Who pays extra for a private cabana at a public water park, then complains that other people can see them? Because that's a real complaint. A couple in Missouri demanded a refund because their cabana, in the middle of a crowded park, didn't feel exclusive enough. Sir, ma'am, you rented shade and a mini fridge. You did not purchase sovereignty. 21. A man's complaint went viral on a Reddit thread. He hated the park's drop slide because the angle was, his words, morally aggressive. Morally aggressive. That was the phrase he chose. The steepness is literally the entire selling point. People queue 90 minutes for that specific drop. Nobody is lining up for a gentle slope. The slide was named the plunge. There were, frankly, multiple clues. 22. One woman called the front desk to complain that her season pass wristband was ugly. She wanted a different color. She also wanted it bedazzled. That wristband exists for one reason. So a 16-year-old lifeguard can verify in half a second that you actually paid. It is not jewelry. It is inventory. She still asked for a manager. The manager, I'm told, also did not bedazzle it. 23. Lifeguard whistles are loud on purpose. That's the entire design. A guard needs that sound to cut through screaming kids, splash noise, music, and 100 floaters in a lazy river. So when a guy filed a complaint that the whistles startled him and were too piercing, he was essentially complaining that the rescue system worked correctly. That's like complaining a smoke alarm is too loud during a fire. 24. A mom demanded the park stop playing inappropriate music. When pressed for which song, she just said, "The beat." Not the lyrics, not a specific track. The beat. The park was playing radio edit pop hits. She filed a written request for only instrumental music suitable for families. Friend, you booked a water park, not a yoga retreat with whale sounds. 25. A couple in Colorado once demanded a private lap in the lazy river because other guests kept looking at them. Looking in a lazy river, which is, by definition, a public pool with a slow current and zero walls. They escalated all the way to corporate. Corporate sent back a very polite letter explaining what the word public actually means. The review they left afterward was titled, "No privacy, no respect, no shade." The shade part, honestly, was fair. 26. A guy in Tennessee demanded a refund because the slide line was, his words, psychologically draining. 40 minutes in the sun, he claimed, broke his spirit. He'd waited longer at the DMV that morning. We checked. Well, the internet did. He had a Yelp review for the DMV from the same week. 3 stars. Apparently, government lines are bearable. Slides with waterfalls are abuse. 27. One woman called corporate to complain that her locker key opened her locker. Read that again. She thought the key system was too easy and that anyone could break in. She demanded the park switch every guest to a fingerprint scanner. By tomorrow. For free. Most modern parks now use RFID wristbands tied to your ticket, which is actually more practical than her plan. The park politely declined to retrofit the entire facility overnight. 28. There's a reason every tall slide has a height stick at the bottom of the stairs, and not just at the top. Kids grow during the day, but not that much. The stick at the bottom exists, so a borderline kid doesn't climb 60 steps in flip-flops only to get turned away at the top and melt down in front of 200 strangers. It's a kindness disguised as a rule. 29. A father in Illinois screamed at a teenage attendant because his 8-year-old missed the height line by less than an inch. He demanded they round up. Height requirements aren't suggestions. They're tied to how the slide flume physically catches a body in the curves. Too small, and the rider can fly off the wall. There's no rounding in physics. Or in lawsuits. 30. This one's almost charming. A retired man complained that the wave pool didn't have a shallow end for serious thinking. He wanted a quiet zone with no kids, no waves, and a chair he could half sit in while contemplating life. He suggested the park add it by next weekend. Sir, that's a bathtub. You are describing your own bathtub. 31. A woman demanded a refund because the funnel slide made her feel like laundry. Verbatim. The funnel slide is, in fact, a giant centrifugal bowl. The whole point is that you swirl around like a sock in a washer before dropping out the bottom. She asked, in writing, for the park to make it less circular. There's no engineering response to that. There just isn't. 32. Quick true fact most guests don't know. Sunscreen, the thick spray kind especially, is one of the biggest enemies of pool water quality. The oils slick the surface, clog filters, and force operators to dump extra chemicals to keep counts safe. That's why a lot of parks now sell or even hand out mineral sunscreen. It's not eco-virtue. It's a water chemistry problem hiding behind a green label. 33. A guest in California filed a formal complaint that the lifeguards didn't wave back at him. He waved 12 times by his own count. Lifeguards aren't being rude. They've literally been trained to ignore non-emergency social signals from the water. Their entire job is scanning for trouble. A friendly wave from a stranger looks identical to a flailing arm of someone going under. Trust me, you want them paranoid. 34. Hear me out on this one. A bachelorette party in Vegas demanded the park dim the lights of an outdoor wave pool. At noon. The sun. They wanted someone to dim the sun. The employee, channeling pure professionalism, said the park would put in a request with management. By management, she meant God. They didn't catch that. They thanked her. 35. A mom in Maryland wanted the park to install signs in every language her family spoke at home. She listed 7. The park's standard signage was English and Spanish, like most public facilities in the country. She filed a complaint that the slides discriminated against multilingual households. Most parks use universal pictograms specifically because no one reads paragraph-long warnings on a wet platform in a swimsuit. The cartoon of a person flying off a tube is, frankly, a global language. 36. A guy showed up to a water park with a full inflatable kayak. Not a tube, a kayak, with paddles. He wanted to put it in the lazy river. When stopped, he yelled that the park was anti-watercraft. Sir, the river is 12 feet wide and packed with toddlers. You brought a vessel. They turned him away. He left a review titled, Hostile to Maritime Culture. 37. One complaint that comes up at almost every park. The snack bar pizza is too salty. Here's the actual reason, and it's kind of fascinating. When you're in chlorinated water for hours, you sweat constantly without realizing it. Your sodium baseline drops. Then you bite into normal pizza and it tastes like a salt mine. The pizza didn't change. You did. Drink water before you write that Yelp review. 38. A man in Texas demanded the park hire a translator to interpret his frustrations because he didn't feel heard. The translator he wanted. Not for a language. He spoke English. He wanted someone to translate his tone. He felt the manager wasn't grasping the emotional weight of his refund request. We've now reached a place in customer service that has no procedure. 39. A teen girl complained because the slide messed up her braids. Her mom escalated. Fair enough, hair work is expensive and time-consuming, but she demanded the park reimburse the salon visit, which was $800. The park's response, which I respect, was that all signage and the staff at the top of the slide told her to tie her hair back. They offered a free return visit. She wanted cash. She got a coupon. 40. Here's something that sounds boring but actually saves lives. After a tragic incident years ago, federal law in this country now requires anti-entrapment drain covers on every public pool. So when guests complain a drain looks ugly or industrial, that ugly cover is literally the reason their kid comes home alive. Pretty drains killed people. Ugly drains saved them. I'll take ugly every time. 41. A couple demanded their wedding photos be reshot at a water park because, get this, other guests photobombed their cabana ceremony. They paid for a standard cabana, not a venue. They didn't book the park. They didn't rent the space. They just got married next to a slide. And then expected the park to refund the strangers. The strangers, by the way, didn't know there was a wedding. 42. There's a phrase every water park trainee learns in their first week. Feet first, face up. Every body slide in America asks you to ride this way. Why? Because going headfirst into a fast curve can break your nose, your jaw, and occasionally your neck. So when a guy in Wisconsin complained the rule restricted his style, what he was really complaining about was the very rule keeping his face on his face. 43. A woman filed a complaint that the splash pad was too splashy. That was the entire body of the email. 3 words. The manager, who I think is a saint, replied with 1 sentence. Yes, ma'am. That's the design. She filed a second complaint about his tone. 44. Tube traffic jams. They happen at the bottom of every slide, and people lose their minds. But there's a reason. Slide attendants up top space riders by a fixed interval, usually 15 to 30 seconds, depending on slide length and flow rate. If someone goes slow, somebody behind catches up. It's not bad scheduling. It's body weight, body shape, and water cushion. Physics doesn't care about your schedule. 45. A man in Nevada complained the park smelled like pool. He wanted them to address it within the hour. The park, which is a pool, smelled like a pool. He wanted essential oil diffusers installed in the locker rooms. Diffusing oil into a chlorine environment is, by the way, a fast way to ruin both the oil and the air handling system. He left predictably a one-star review titled Olfactory Negligence. 46. A grandma demanded a discount because the park didn't have a rocking chair section for her, while her grandkids swam. She wanted 3 rocking chairs in the shade, ideally near the lazy river, ideally with a side table. Honestly, that's not even a bad idea. The park apparently agreed because the next season they added shaded loungers near that very spot. Congratulations, Brenda. You changed something. 47. Here's a piece of training most guests never see. Lifeguards run something called the 10-20 rule in their head every single shift. Spot a struggling swimmer within 10 seconds. Reach them within 20. That's the industry standard, measured, drilled, and tested. It's why their eyes look glazed over and unblinking. They're not bored. They're locked into a grid. Now imagine complaining they looked bored. That bored face is a focused face. 48. One dad demanded the park lower the music volume at the kids' splash area because it interfered with his audiobook. He had headphones on, with a volume dial, at a splash zone, with actual children. He took a photo of his decibel meter app and emailed it to corporate. Corporate forwarded it to the park. The park, in turn, framed it. 49. A guest tried to bring her emotional support peacock into a water park. Yes, peacock. The bird. She had paperwork. The park, citing very real health code rules, declined. Most American water parks only allow trained service animals, and even those usually can't enter the water itself due to bacterial concerns. She filed a complaint that the staff was speciesist. The peacock, by all reports, was fine with the decision. 50. A woman called to demand the park schedule a slow day for her so she could visit when no one else was there. She wanted them to email her when attendance was projected under 50 people. Operationally, that's the kind of day a park loses money on. They're not going to broadcast it. But she insisted it was common courtesy. I think about that word, courtesy, often. I don't think it means what she thinks it means. 51. Here's something most folks don't know. Many high-speed body slides have a minimum weight requirement, not just a maximum. Below a certain threshold on certain rides, smaller riders can actually slow down or stall in the curves, which is genuinely more dangerous than going too fast. It's not the park being mean to small adults. It's gravity refusing to cooperate. 52. A man complained that the lazy river was going the wrong way. Wrong, according to who? Him. He felt the current should reverse periodically for balance. The park, which had operated that river in the same direction for over 20 years, declined. He left a review accusing them of directional bias. I want that on a bumper sticker. 53. One mom demanded the park ban older men from the kiddie area. Sounds reasonable, right? Until you learn older men, in her definition included a 68-year-old grandfather sitting next to his actual granddaughter. The park has zero tolerance for genuinely creepy behavior. They also have zero tolerance for accusing grandparents. They asked her to leave. She filed a complaint about being asked to leave. 54. A guy in Florida demanded the park speed up the sun. He wanted the sunset earlier because the glare on the wave pool was bothering him. He wasn't joking. He suggested the park install massive sunshades over the entire facility. The cost, conservatively, would run into the millions. The park politely offered him a pair of complimentary sunglasses. He took them and left a 4-star review. Progress. 55. A woman complained that the gift shop didn't sell her exact swimsuit size in the exact color and pattern she wanted. She'd ripped hers on the slide, fair enough, but expected the gift shop to be a department store. Most water park retail is impulse merchandise. Logo tees, basic suits, sunscreen, goggles. It's not a boutique. She left wearing the shop's last clearance swimsuit. The review she posted was, as expected, brutal. 56. Pool chemistry. Side note that genuinely surprises people. The cloudy haze you sometimes see in a busy pool by late afternoon isn't dirt. It's mostly tiny particles of skin, sweat, and yes, body lotion suspended in the water. Filters can only catch so much in real time. That's why parks shock treat their pools overnight. So, if you want crystal water, hit the gates at opening, not at 4 in the afternoon on a Saturday. 57. A man demanded a free season pass because he claimed the park stole his idea. His idea? A VIP-only zone with champagne. Sir, that already exists at almost every major park. It's called the Cabana Upgrade. He insisted his concept was different because his version included respect. How exactly the park was supposed to bottle respect, he never specified. 58. A teenager complained that the slide attendant said, "Have fun," sarcastically. Said the attendant's tone was mocking. The park reviewed the camera footage. The attendant said, "Have fun," in the most generic 8-hour shift dead-eyed voice you can imagine. That wasn't sarcasm. That was hour 7. The teen got a free soft pretzel. The attendant got, hopefully, a break. 59. Here's a real one that matters. Pregnant women are usually barred from high-speed and drop slides at American water parks. Not because the park is judging anyone, because the G-forces on those rides can genuinely cause harm. That's not park policy. That's manufacturer guidelines printed on the slide itself. When a guest complains it's discriminatory, it's actually the slide builder, not the park, drawing that line. 60. A woman demanded the park's mascot stop staring at her son. The mascot is a giant foam shark with painted-on eyes. The eyes are painted. They cannot move. She wanted the costume redesigned with friendlier eyes before her next visit. The park, to their credit, did not redesign the shark. The shark, to its credit, did not respond to the complaint. 61. One man complained the slide tower stairs were too vertical. Stairs. Vertical. That's just stairs. He wanted a ramp installed to the top of a 70-foot slide. Ramps exist for accessibility, absolutely, but a ramp of that height would require an additional structure roughly as long as a football field. He felt the park was discriminating against tired people. I have nothing to add. The complaint speaks for itself. 62. A man arrived at a Texas water park at 11 in the morning, found every shaded lounger already claimed with towels, and lost it. He demanded the park enforce a no-towel-saving policy immediately. Funny thing, most parks technically have that rule. The catch? Enforcing it means a 16-year-old has to walk up to a stranger's pile of stuff and remove it. That's not a job. That's a hostage negotiation. So the rule exists. The reality is that nobody wants to die on that hill. 63. One guy filed a complaint that the bathroom echoed too much. He wanted soundproofing installed because his voice sounded weird in there. The bathroom is a tiled concrete room. Sound is going to bounce. That's not negligence. That's geometry. He claimed it made him self-conscious while talking on the phone. Sir, maybe don't take the call from the bathroom. 64. Quick truth bomb. The reason every water park asks you to shower before entering the pool isn't just hygiene theater. A pre-rinse genuinely removes the layer of body oil, deodorant, and old sunscreen that otherwise dumps straight into the pool chemistry. 30 seconds under a shower head can cut chloramine production dramatically. It's the easiest favor you can do for the next person in line behind you. 65. And finally, the complaint that ended up framed in a break room somewhere in Florida. A woman wrote a 5-page letter accusing the water park of fostering joy unprofessionally. She said the staff smiled too much, the music was too upbeat, and the overall vibe was aggressively cheerful. She wanted, and I quote, a more solemn aquatic atmosphere. Ma'am, you went to a water park, not a funeral. They've never met your match before, and honestly, they never will. One last thing. Tell me in the comments which job at a water park you'd quit on day 1. Lifeguard, slide attendant, front desk, manager, pick one. Then read the replies because somebody is going to defend the job you said was unsurvivable, and that's where it gets interesting. Like if you got through all 65 without rage quitting. Subscribe before the next complaint folder opens.